Are you training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing? Want to know the best way to incorporate strength training? Watch this.
All right, our first caller is Boss from Belgium.
Boss, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
Hey, guys. Really nice to meet you. First of all, I want to say you had an amazing impact on my life since I started listening to you guys. I've been a guy like Sal who totally overtrains a lot, but a little bit of background. I've been always an athletic child. I did swimming for 13 years, but then at age 14, around 14, 15, I totally quit swimming. And then I got actually really fat because of gaming. And at age 16, I was around 116 kilos. So, and then at age 17, I found fitness. I made a shift. I got to 70 kilos again. And now 10 years later, I'm at around close to 90 kilos, pretty lean. So now my question is, lately I've been more focused into fighting. So I currently do 1 day of jiu-jitsu and 2 days of kickboxing in the week. But I wanted to know how you guys would approach putting lifting in there, because I really do enjoy training full bodies or push-pull legs. But I know if I do kickboxing 2 days and jiu-jitsu 1 day, I can easily overtrain, because I also have a very demanding job with a lot of steps, heavy packages I have to carry, stuff like that. So
good deal.
Important question first. How's your ranking on Call of Duty?
Yeah, I know the last 5 years I haven't gamed. So
good deal. In your question, Boss, it also says that you swim. So you do jiu-jitsu once, 2 days a week of kickboxing, and then you swim once a week?
And you have a demand.
Yeah, I swim around 30 to 45 minutes.
You know, once a week of full body strength training would be it. That's all I would do. And I would keep the intensity moderate. I would do maybe 3 compound lifts and maybe 1 ancillary lift, and that's it. Keep it super basic and keep the intensity very moderate. And what you'll find is it'll improve your performance in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. If adding strength training reduces your performance in all of those, in other words, you go to practice and you find that you're just more fatigued and stiff and sore, and you can't really train like you normally could, then the lifting is too much. There's too much volume or too much intensity or too many exercises. So if it makes everything else feel good, then you're doing the right thing. If it takes away from everything else, then you're probably doing too much. So generally speaking, you're looking at about 40 minutes of strength training, or 60 minutes if you do long rest periods, where it's just very basic. You know, like I said, 3 compound lifts, 1 or 2 ancillary lifts, and that's kind of it.
Boss, are you following any of our programs yet?
Yeah, so I've done MAPS Anabolic a couple of times, but I adjusted a couple of exercises because I have a lot of experience. I also did strong, and I also did aesthetic.
Yeah, now keep in mind, our programs are designed to be run alone. So when someone buys one of our programs, we're considering that they don't do other workouts and stuff like that on their own. But considering you do so much, our programs as written would be inappropriate. They're just going to be too much for you. So I would take one of the foundational workouts from one of our workouts, and you can pick either MAPS Performance or Anabolic or Strong. And I would do that one workout once a week, but I would even cut that a little short. I would even remove some of the extra, ancillary lifts that are in there and just kind of focus on the compound stuff. And that should make you feel good. And you should know right away, Boss, once you do it, within the first week or 2, you should feel good. If you feel fried or too tired or sore or stiff, then it's probably too much.
I'd like to give you MAPS Performance, because I think that because you're an athlete and you're doing all these sports, I think that workout will translate the most over into the sports that you're playing as far as being beneficial. Plus, let's say you have a heavy week of training and doing sports and all the things you're doing. instead of actually doing a lifting day, maybe you'll take a mobility day out of there and be a little more recuperative for the body. And that's how I actually would use performance. So like Sal's advice, I would only be strength training one day, maybe max 2 days a week if you have a slow week on sports, and or utilizing the mobility days as active recovery. So on days when you got after it pretty hard, maybe the next day after, jiu-jitsu or swimming or something like that, I do like a nice mobility workout to help facilitate recovery. So I think that program, in my opinion, would benefit you the most.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of people don't know this, but Belgium's got some of the best fighters in the world of all time. So I'm sure you're a big fan of some of those guys. Like, God, what was his name? Garigium? Am I saying his name right? And is Bas Rutten, was he from Belgium?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Oh yeah, good fighters, good places. Yeah, kickboxing, one of the best places in the world for kickboxing.
Everybody.
A lot of people don't know that. So good for you. How long have you been training in those?
Kickboxing, I've been doing around almost 3 years, and jiu-jitsu for 5 months.
Good for you. Good for you. Which one's harder for you?
I think it's pretty. I think jiu-jitsu is harder, but kickboxing is more demanding on my muscles.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I just got to ask if you've ever taken time out to do an off season where you're just focused on strength training exclusively, and maybe then supplementing, your skills training with jiu-jitsu.
Well, actually, most of my last 5 years were most strength training.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've
been building up to this point.
Like in the start, I've done when I kickboxed, I only did 1 day of kickboxing, and I gone to the gym 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mainly, and I didn't always swim. But my main last 6 years were actually on building muscle and going to the gym.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, I think then this is sound advice for just once a week to just supplement what you're doing now, because that's the heavy emphasis.
Yeah, you want to keep this in mind, boss. When you're doing the kind of training that you're doing, the emphasis is going to be whatever you do will be to make those things better. Okay, so if you add anything and it takes away from your performance or your ability in your kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, then it's not appropriate. And the reason why I'm wording it this way is because sometimes people they'll add strength training to their total regime and their athletes, and then they get into the mindset of aesthetics and developing muscles and looking a particular way, and then they start to sacrifice their performance. But then they get stuck in this conundrum. I don't want to reduce the amount of kickboxing I do. I don't want to reduce the amount of jiu-jitsu I do. And I'm still trying to develop a more bodybuilder-looking physique. And what ends up happening is you get nothing. Your performance drops and you don't develop the physique that you're looking for. So it's got to be one or the other. But it sounds to me like you're pretty focused on your kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, in which case, like I said, your best bet is to approach strength training from a very moderate intensity level. You go in there, you practice the movements, you feel good while you do them. You should not feel at the end of your strength training workout like you do at the end of your kickboxing workout. Like when you're done with kickboxing, you need to go lay down. You feel like you just went through oh man, I got beat up. You should not feel like that at all with strength training. If anything, you should feel better and rejuvenated at the end of your strength training sessions. If you do it that way, you'll get great results. If you treat it like your kickboxing workouts or jiu-jitsu where you're in there and you beat yourself up in the gym, all you're going to notice is everything's going to go downhill.
Yeah, I already had an idea you would say something like this, but I had a little bit of fear because I'm actually really proud of the physique I built, and I had a little bit of fear that it will go away because of all the fighting and swimming. But I do enjoy it a lot, and I want to get better at it. But I really want to not get skinny.
Yeah,
in a way.
Well, look, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get you probably will. Your body will maybe pare down a little muscle, but you're not going to get skinny. I mean, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu with a little strength training, you'll have an athletic, muscular. You're just not going to be as big. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, it's just seasons. So you're doing a season, and your focus right now is on these, sports. So, you'll come back to strength training, and it'll, respond appropriately.
It comes back fast, man.
Real fast.
If you decide to stop and go back to just more strength training. But I mean, yeah, you're like, that's it. You add a little bit and you're fine. You'll notice improvements.
So you would say 1 day of performance each week, and only the mobility I take with it.
Yeah, you can do mobility whenever you want. That's recuperative. So in fact, you know how I do the mobility sessions? I would do them before your jiu-jitsu or kickboxing class. I would do like 20 minutes of mobility flow session.
Okay, clear.
Yep. All right, man. We're gonna send you performance if you don't have it. Okay, boss.
Yeah, I have it. I have it.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
beautiful. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling from all the way from Belgium.
Thank you so much, guys.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Yep.
Take care.
You got it.
What percentage would you guys guess actually listen to us with the athletes, right?
Oh,
In particular,
I
like,
thought you were going to ask how many people ask similar questions.
well,
Yeah.
so okay, that's the reason why I'm bringing that up, because we do get this question a lot. Like, it's just different. It's the same
Yeah.
question,
Same question, different sport, different
right?
pursuit.
So why I'm asking this is because I have this sneaky suspicion that a very small percentage actually, and the reason why I think a small percentage actually listen to us is because the athletic mind
yeah, 100%.
is it's like what I can handle. And I know, and I love that you always say that, like the right dose isn't what technically you can handle. The right dose is the right dose for your
Right.
body. And
It's not the max you can tolerate. That's
right.
not the right dose.
And unfortunately, and fortunately, because that's also what makes some of these athletes really good, is they have this ability to endure so much, right? And they become resilient,
Yep.
and they've got good at their sport by overcoming these things. And so hearing someone like us go, "Hey, we want you to back off, and do less, and you're going to probably have more muscle." I have
These
this.
guys are crazy.
Yeah, I want to believe that everybody trusts us enough that they just go listen to us.
Well,
but-
what I'm hoping is that because athletes that train quite a bit, they know this. Like, I'm sure they've heard it a million times and they know it. They just don't follow it. So what I'm hoping is that, because he said, "Oh, that's what I thought you guys would say."
like we confirm it. And
We
so-
confirm. He's like, "All right, fine. I'll finally do it. I hope that's the case."
Yeah.
Otherwise, you learn the hard way. Because here's what'll happen if he doesn't listen. What'll happen is he'll add more and more strength training. He won't pay attention to his declining performance, and then inevitably you get hurt.
Yeah, you're just going to overtrain.
You get you end up injuring yourself in kickboxing or jiu-jitsu.
or less detrimental, and just you don't really progress it either.
That's
Right,
it.
right. You're doing all this stuff, and you're not really getting any more muscle, and
You just
you're
feel like
not
garbage.
and you're not getting really better at the sport, but you're working your ass off in both
Yeah.
categories. When it's like just kind of pulling back a little bit on the strength training, and you might actually see progression in
Yeah,
both.
it's pretty cool though. Okay, he did kickboxing in Belgium. I don't know if you guys know, because I used to watch K1,
Yeah.
which is a really
I
high level.
watched K1 too.
Belgium, the kickboxers from that area they rewrote the books on certain styles of kickboxing.
Really?
Oh yeah, and it was awesome to watch them, because you could see, just like boxing, like they
It
have
was like the Netherlands too. They had like
the Dutch
kickboxer.
Dutch styles of
Dutch style.
kickboxing, and you'd
Yeah.
see these. They'd finish every combo with a leg kick, and just it was brutal. It was great. Boss Rutten, one of the most famous fighters. He wasn't necessarily a kickboxer. He fought in, I think it was called
He
Pancrase.
did that like open hand, like strikes,
Yeah, the
right?
rules were you couldn't close fist punch, but you could slap to the face, and he would knock people
Just
out.
knock
slaps.
people out with an open hand. It was awesome.
It's so awesome.